Today is December 7th. I have a doctor's appointment out in Decatur, Texas to see a rheumatologist to discuss the new diagnosis of mixed connective tissue disease. So I am heading out there. It's about a 45-minute drive, so let's get going. Okay, so I am done at the rheumatologist's office. I have to kind of collect my thoughts a little bit. There was a lot of information thrown at me in the matter of 10 minutes. Pretty much, there's a lot more testing that needs to be done. So I had to give a urine sample, and I believe she took like 10 or 12 vials of blood, and I'll put it here so you can see how many vials of blood she took from me. Very nice office. I'm all the way out here in Decatur, Texas. It's raining, so it's a fuzzy hair day. Anyways, apparently I'm hypermobile. All my joints move way too much, which is all part of this issue. He did say there's like 30% of people who can do it, and then 2 to 5% out of those people end up with whatever condition I have. He wasn't too specific to start with because he wants to do some more testing just to make sure he's kind of on the right path. We did not talk about my breast implants. We did not talk about if the implants cause this, because we don't have the answers until we get more testing done, more lab work done. So I don't know. I don't know how to express my feelings. I see him back in about 3.5 weeks. He's going to put me on a Medrol dose pack, and he wants me to document every single day how I feel. How does my feet feel? How does my elbows feel? How does my fingers feel? How does everything feel in my body? Because if the steroids work, then it helps him understand if I have an inflammatory process or something else breaking down. So, yeah. I don't know. I'll have more to say. I do have to go get my hands x-rayed, and I have no idea where to get that. So, Google, here we come. Alrighty, hand x-rays are complete. The gal said he'll get the results today, but I have an appointment with him on the 5th of January, and he'll go over all the results with me then. So I guess my goal is just to enjoy the holidays and worry about it in the new year. My car just rolled over 6,000 miles. Okay, so the doctor is going to put me on a Medrol dose pack. We're going to try this out, I think it's like 7 to 10 days. He said if it helps with my pain levels, then it directs him down one pathway of diagnosis. If it does not change the way I feel or my hands feel or how stiff they are or anything, then it directs him down another path. So here's to the next week of taking these. He said just take, use a little diary, write down how I feel, and we'll go from there. I mean, he did the hand x-rays today, which he was checking for joint changes in my fingers to see if maybe it's a rheumatoid arthritis. He literally drew what I felt was a gallon of blood. It wasn't, but a lot of tubes of blood. So I think we're on the right track. I think he's a really awesome doctor. I really enjoyed him. He was very thorough with his questions, and I'm ready to figure this out, whether it be related to having breast implants or not. If it's a genetic issue, it's a genetic issue, and getting the implants out is just a bonus to my health and letting me fight this the way I'm supposed to fight it. So cheers to a healthy 2023. Update on the Medrol dose pack. So it took, I think, 5 or 6 days to get through it. I did notice the puffiness in my hands got better. Overall, on a pain level, it probably decreased by 2 or 3 points. In the morning time, when I wake up, my hands hurt, my feet hurt, so I have to just open and close them in order to get functioning. And I end up going to the kitchen sink and running warm water and doing some dishes because it makes them feel better if I run them under warm water. I would say out of all the fingers, it's my middle fingers that hurt the worst. But would I say the Medrol dose pack completely fixed it? Absolutely not. But I think during the day, right now, they just feel really achy. My feet feel really achy. So I don't know what he's gonna do with that information. But I did get the lab results back. He drew so much stuff, and the only thing that I still see that's positive is the RNP, which is ribonuclear protein. It's a big word, so I just say RNP. It's part of that ANA profile. On the 4th of November, they tested it. It was 2.3. I had my implants removed November the 22nd. I went and saw the rheumatologist on December 7th. That number is down to 1.6. So 2.3 down to 1.6 in just over a month. And it was 15 days after my implants were removed. I don't know what that means. I'm not making any claims. Just think it's interesting. My fatigue levels are standard for post-surgical. I also had a mini tummy tuck, and I guess I fixed my C-section scar, so I'm still dealing with that. I still am sporting a drain. Today is day 25. The day that I saw the rheumatologist, I actually ended up in the emergency room. So by the time I got home from seeing him, I was absolutely exhausted. On the way home from seeing him, luckily my car drives itself. It's hands-free, so you just set the cruise and it keeps you in your lane. You can just put your hands down. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have had to actually just pull over. And I don't eat red meat. I haven't eaten red meat in years. I will periodically, but then it'll flare me up. My hands will get terrible. My stomach hurts, so I just don't eat red meat. But on the way home that day, I felt like I needed a big steak, like I needed red meat. So I swung into McDonald's and grabbed a hamburger and literally scarfed it down and got to the house. And it didn't make me feel any better. It didn't make me feel any worse. But the whole afternoon, I was just trying to get comfortable on the couch, all underneath my left side. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't get comfortable. I had the chills. Temperature 99.2, so low-grade fever. My daughter got home from school and decided, Mom, you don't look good. You look like yellow, green, and you're moaning. Let's go. So she put me in the car. I texted my surgeon like, hey, you know, if this is okay, if we're gonna go to the emergency room. He said, yeah, that's exactly where you need to be. So I went to the emergency room. They tested me for everything under the sun. Pulmonary embolism, they tested my whole entire chest. Because of the mixed connective tissue disorder, there is issues with the aorta, so they checked that under CT scan. It was a 3.7 on the diameter. My primary care doctor said he's going to continue to watch that because he said it's on the higher end of normal, I guess. So at the emergency room, they drew a whole bunch of blood and they found out that I had elevated numbers showing that my body had an infection. So my white blood count was way too high and my hemoglobin was way too low, it was 8.7. So that's why I felt so drained that day during the day, and I wanted meat, right? Iron deficiency anemia. So with all that being said, the ER discharged me that night and pretty much told me to stay in bed for 3 days because the output of my 3 drains went through the roof over 100 cc's and it was already down to like 40 a day. So my body was dealing with something. They gave me a huge dose of Rocephin in the ER and then Bactrim to go home with. And then the next day my surgeon decided to cover all broad spectrum and put me on clindamycin. So I got hit really hard with antibiotics. I just have been focusing on staying hydrated, eating throughout the day, taking my iron, taking the antibiotics, and just trying to stay on course. Like I said earlier, today's day 25, and slowly every day I'm doing better. I have a little bit of swelling actually, I guess because I'm up more, but I'll figure that out on Monday when I go see the surgeon. But the whole purpose of this video was to talk about those levels. So like I said, I'm not making claims, but November 4th, it was 2.3, December 7th, it was 1.6, and the only thing I changed was remove my implants. So, I don't know. I see the rheumatologist on January 5th. So let's see what he thinks. He took x-rays of my hands too, because he wants to see if I have any arthritic changes, and especially those middle fingers, so stay tuned.